Incremental steps on the ground. ISF approval and the Board of Peace roadmap. August 9th, 2026, by Ward Ethan Mercer. The regional peace architecture continues to advance through small but concrete operational moves. In late July, two developments stood out as clear signals that the framework is still being assembled piece by piece rather than stalling out. Israel approves limited ISF entry. On July 26th, Israel's cabinet authorized the entry of the International Stabilization Force into Gaza. The initial phase is a pilot focused on Rafah, involving temporary housing and basic services for screened civilians in areas outside Hamas control. Several hundred troops are expected in the early contingent. Morocco has formally committed personnel, approximately 500 troops, to support humanitarian delivery and help train a non-Hamas Palestinian police force. Other contributors include Kazakhstan, Kosovo, and reports of Ugandan involvement. The force received legal immunity under Israeli law and will coordinate with the IDF while operating under a limited mandate, ceasefire monitoring, humanitarian protection, and the support to the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza. It is explicitly barred from policing Palestinian society. This marks the first formal Israeli authorization for the multinational force outlined in the original 20-point plan. The Board of Peace 15-point roadmap. On July 30th and 31st, the Board of Peace released a detailed 15-point roadmap for implementing the next stages of the Gaza plan. Key elements include immediate cessation of military operations by both sides, a 14-day window to finalize implementation mechanisms, entry of the NCAG to begin assuming governance responsibilities, phased decommissioning of Hamas weaponry explicitly linked to phased Israeli withdrawal, creation of an implementation verification committee, Board of Peace, guarantor states, and ISF, to certify compliance at every stage, and ISF deployment as a buffer between IDF positions and NCAG-controlled areas. President Trump described the framework as a historic agreement for phased Hamas disarmament. Reports indicated Hamas acceptance of the roadmap, though full verification and sustained compliance remain open questions. Ceasefire violations continue on both sides. Wider regional linkages. The same period saw continued pressure on the normalization track. Trump publicly conditioned a newly signed U.S.-Saudi civilian nuclear cooperation deal on Saudi Arabia joining the Abraham Accords. This reinforces the administration's consistent approach of treating Gaza stabilization, Gulf security, and Accords expansion as interconnected rather than separate files. The pattern. These moves, formal Israeli approval for limited ISF entry, a published verification roadmap, multinational force commitments, and sustained Accords linkages, show the architecture is still advancing through phased, conditional steps. Progress remains slow and contested. Hamas disarmament funding flows and the Iran variable continue to act as the primary friction points. Yet the mechanical pieces are moving. The security force is authorized to enter, a verification structure is on paper, and the governance track has a clearer sequence. The framework has not collapsed. It is being built incrementally under difficult conditions. Bottom line, late July delivered the clearest operational signals in months. The ISF is authorized to begin a limited presence, and the Board of Peace has published a detailed path for demilitarization and transition. Whether these steps hold will depend on compliance and execution in the weeks ahead. Eyes open. The Mercer Ledger is an independent, listener-supported platform. If you enjoy this work and would like to help support future reporting and analysis, you can visit ko-fi.com/WEMercer. That's ko-fi.com/WEMERCER. Thank you for listening.